What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel. And very happy player grades to drop on you guys today. It's Philadelphia's beat the Dallas Cowboys 17-9 to move to 8-7, first place in the NFC East. I'm not going to be overconfident. I'm not going to be cocky. I'm not going to throw shade because, you know, there's a legit possibility that they thought the hard work is done here and then they slip up next week against the Giants because it really always plays down to the level of competition. But for right now, we're going to be riding this high note because, honestly, they embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys came in, Dak Prescott, most passing yards in the league. Got Ezekiel Elliott. Held them to 9 points. No touchdowns, pitched a shutout. There was some drops. There was some okay coverage from the Philadelphia Eagles. But I would say this as an Eagle fan. I think this game was a lot more Dallas and Dak Prescott failing to execute than it was the Eagles' defense shutting them down. I think this was a failure of a game from Dak Prescott. He did not play well, sailed a lot of balls high, and we saw Carson Wentz played very, very well. 31 of 40, 320 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. And Dak Prescott has Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. And Carson Wentz has Greg Ward and Arcega-Whiteside. So it's a big win, man. A really, really big win for the Philadelphia Eagles. I love Miles Sanders when he probably could have broke away, scored that touchdown, helped his case for Offensive Rookie of the Year, which I think is still firmly Josh Jacobs. And then, you know, then I think there's a toss. I think Miles Sanders could be in that second place have a conversation with like Kyler Murray, A.J. Brown. But, you know, it was a huge win. A very, very big win. Pretty solid. Like I said, I'm not trying to give some big hyphy-ass video right yet because I know this team, this Philadelphia Eagles team that, I mean, I'm kind of hoping if we do make the playoffs, we'll play the 49ers. I think we match up very well against the 49ers. But I can't overextend myself because I honestly would not be shocked to see like Daniel Jones throw 4 touchdowns and the Eagles slip up and then Dallas handles business against the Redskins and you know, that'd be annoying. But player grades and then we'll talk about the game. So yeah, Carson Wentz 31 of 40. Like, it's just ridiculous to me that a team that doesn't have a wide receiver 1, doesn't have a wide receiver 2, and really your top weapons are your tight ends and running backs. Every week, it feels like Carson Wentz is throwing it 35, 40 plus times. Like, what is this game plan? It's working, obviously, with winning games, but it's just, what other team would do this? It doesn't make sense. Like, Tom Brady doesn't have a lot of wide receivers in England. He's not throwing it 40 times. He's not throwing it 45 times. They're running the ball a lot more. They're handing to Sony Michel. Like, let's see, how many passing attempts did Tom Brady have this week against the Buffalo Bills? I'm going to be shocked if it's in the 40s. It's, low 30s. Tom Brady keeps in that, like, 26, 35 max, and it seems like that is minimum. Brady's max, because, you know, right now the Eagles and Patriots have very similar issues when it comes to the offense. And I don't know, man. It's working for the Eagles. I mean, it is West Coast. Doug Peterson likes to throw the ball, but full kudos to Carson Wentz here today, man. He's going to get, given the stakes of the game, I'm giving Wentz an A. He played well. He moved out of the pocket. He had 1 fumble. That was a fumble recovery. I actually hate that stat, personally. I was talking to my buddies. Like, yes, he has 19 fumble losses. That is not a good stat. That is a stat. Total fumbles, who cares? If you recover your own fumble, whatever. It's the same as like an incompletion. Same as a sack. It's not that important, I don't think. But the 19 fumble losses was annoying. But fortunately enough, did not add to that statistic today. He was able to fall on the fumble. So yeah, I'm giving him an A. Well, in the running attack, Miles Sanders, 20 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown, 22 yards for Carson Wentz. Boston Scott just, you know, rarely used. But Miles Sanders looks like a beast, man. Like I said, I love that where he could have took it to the house for that touchdown and really put the game away, but he slid like Brian Westbrook did. Most famous. That was probably the first time that really happened. I remember that was probably, what was that, 2008, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that time where Brian Westbrook, it became like a meme because like, oh, fantasy owner, someone had him in fantasy and he didn't get that touchdown. But I love that. I love the homage. I love the similarities. I love how you can relate the two because I think Miles Sanders is going to be the next Brian Westbrook style player for this Philadelphia Eagles team. He's an outstanding rookie. You know, we like to sour on some of the Eagles draft picks lately, but they apparently hit on Miles Sanders. It looks really good. And I've always been like, what jersey am I getting next for the Eagles? I think it's kind of getting pretty clear that it's going to be a Miles Sanders jersey. But 79 yards and a touchdown today. The running attack will just pretty much grade out Miles Sanders, giving him an A as well, because he also chipped in for 5 catches and 77 yards. Very good on-screen passes. Dallas Goedert, 9 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. G. Ward, 4 for 70. Arcega-Whiteside, 2 for 40. Zach Ertz, 4 for 28. Zach Ertz did not help the cause in my fantasy football league, but I don't care, man. I would trade. Right now in my fantasy league, it looks like I'm probably going to lose in both finals. I'd probably, yeah, I'm not even going to, I don't even think about it. I would trade losing in fantasy both finals for Philadelphia to make the playoffs over the Dallas Cowboys. So, it was a good performance from the group, I guess. I mean, not really the receivers because it was everyone else, but Goddard played well, no drops, no fumbles. I'm going to give the wide receivers, I'm going to give them a strong B. Maybe B plus, given the B generally, like if you compare it against the other wide receivers in the league. But for the Eagles, they're getting a B plus. Special teams gets an F. What the hell is going on with Jake Elliott? I need Jason Peters to threaten Jake Elliott's life again, because since he's signed that contract extension, I think I saw on Twitter, he's 60% making his field goals. I don't know what happened. I mean, the two misses were over 50 yards. Usually you don't hold it against the kicker too much when they miss in those 50 yarders, because like those are difficult, but that's like the strength of Jake Elliott's game. And he can't be missing those, man. We need to get that shored up right away. Defensively, they played very good. Outside, like, thank God Ronald Darby got hurt and couldn't play that game, because Darby is so bad. He's the worst corner on this roster. I'll tell you that point blank period. Given the fact that he's the most expensive by a mile, he is the worst corner on this team. I will rather Rasul Douglas. I would rather Jalen Mills, Avonte Maddox, Cravon LeBlanc, all those guys over Ronald Darby right now. He is a liability. He's not, like, his biggest thing was speed, and he still is getting toasted. Like, he has no strength. He brings no positives to this team right now. Depth. He needs to be benched for sure. I actually thought he got benched, honestly. When they said it was an injury, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But I honestly thought he was so bad, they're like, let's bench him. But at least Rasul Douglas can win jump balls. He might not be the fastest, but he can win jump balls. Maddox on the team, 7 tackles. Nate Gary, 5 tackles. Mills had 8. Fletcher Cox, couple big plays, forced fumble that unfortunately Philadelphia Eagles recovered and they had to punt it away because they did nothing with it. 2 sacks. Vinny Curry had a sack. Josh Sweat had a sack. Josh Sweat's looking pretty decent. I'm going to be excited to see what he looks like next year with more snaps. But then again, you throw in, we have a 4th-round pick for Gennard Avery from the Browns. Where are these guys going to play, man? We got too many guys. And again, I guess you could kind of highlight that. What's Avery doing, man? Derek Burnett did nothing. We're getting so lack of plays from our young core of guys. It's very frustrating. It's very alarming. Sidney Jones played well. Finally made a play, though, in the end zone. The turnover on downs on 4th down. I mean, this back-to-back weeks, Sidney Jones has made a play. I would argue, even though I didn't bring it, literally, I just forgot about him when I was talking about corners I'd rather over Ronald Darby. I probably would start Sidney Jones at this point. He is the hot hand at corner, and I would go with him and Jalen Mills. And I never thought I'd say I would go with Jalen Mills at corner, but I think, especially next week against the Giants, I think someone like Sidney Jones could match up well against Darius Slayton. You cannot have Darius Slayton run past Ronald Darby like he did in the opener with Eli Manning. Daniel Jones, he's not a meme anymore at number 6 pick. I never thought of him a meme. I guess that's one of my receipts that I can cash in for the 2019 draft. I was surprisingly, shockingly, didn't hate the Giants pick of Daniel Jones as a player. Obviously, the value at 6 was pretty ridiculous, but as a QB prospect, I said, yes, there's a legitimate shot. Daniel Jones is as good as any other quarterbacks in this draft class. That's kind of how weak it was, but it was still a compliment to Daniel Jones. And you're seeing, man, he's having some big games. He's had more 4 touchdown games than Carson Wentz has this year. So I do think that Sidney Jones on the outside going against Slate probably gives us our best chance. Not Darby. Defense, though, they did their job. Did not give a single touchdown up to Dallas. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't like we had like a bunch. Like I think there were definitely some lack of execution on Dak Prescott, lack of execution from the receivers. I don't necessarily think this was kind of how open up the city. I don't think it was really the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They made plays, but I think it was more Dallas leaving plays out there than it was Philly really shutting them down. But you got to do what you got to do, and you don't give up a single touchdown. You have some part in that. So I'm going to give the defense a B+. It was a really, really solid performance. I thought Nigel Bradham might have had his best game of the year. They shut down Ezekiel Elliott very nicely. Malcolm Jenkins played pretty damn well, I'm going to be honest with you. So yeah, man, it's all next week. Eagles, Giants. It's a 2 p.m. game. Of course. Where's the Dallas one? Does Dallas even play? That's probably at 2 o'clock too as well. Yeah, all those games are at 2 o'clock. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna honestly have to come out and say, from what we saw with Eli Manning, Daniel Jones is a better quarterback, and Eli Manning came out the second half and only got like 20 yards offense. That's not gonna happen with Daniel Jones. So I hope that Philly. Where's that game? Is that game in Philly or in New York? I think that game is in New York. So, I mean, Giants aren't selling much tickets. It's probably going to be filled with Eagles fans. It's going to be technically and sound like a Eagles home game. But I'm not nervous because I know Doug Peterson, he doesn't choke, really. He chokes games in the regular season, but when it really matters, he wins his games. Like, obviously last year, the choke against the Titans, the choke against the Panthers. Like, there was a couple games last year that was like unbelievable. But still, when all is said and done, they found a way down in December to win these games, put teams away. I feel like it would be shocking for them to lose to New York. Not unrealistic, but shocking. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I definitely want to feel like that's something I want to get from you guys, the Eagle fans in the comments. How do you feel about that game against New York? Are you worried? Do you think, you know what, Philadelphia, they're a better team. They're going to play. They're going to show up. I don't, because I personally can't express to you my true feelings about that matchup, because it's like Philly, everything says they should win. Everything in my head says they should win. But I wouldn't be shocked if they lose. Like, what is that feeling? I don't know if there's a certain word for that. I guess the word for that is an Eagles fan. I am an Eagles fan heading into that matchup against New York next week. But, hey, we got the hard part done, at least. It should be beating the Dallas Cowboys at home. It was a great atmosphere, great win. Carson Wentz was phenomenal on the day. And we all looked ahead to next week, where hopefully we get a great New Year's gift of Philadelphia somehow, some way, hosting a playoff game in January. So thank you guys for watching. As always, first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Leave a like if you are hyped that the Philadelphia Eagles knocked out the Dallas Cowboys. Let me know how you feel about that game next week against the Giants, and I'll catch you guys back here later. Peace out.